Hi, I'm Haley and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, we have a little bit of a different setup here today. Today, I'm going to be washing all of my gross, dirty brushes that I have in front of me and then doing a big declutter and going through all of these brushes and getting rid of all the ones that I don't love. So if you love a good old-fashioned declutter video, keep on watching. So this is just my preferred method of washing brushes. I have tried out so many different brush cleaners over the years, Cinema Secrets, the Beauty Blender one, all of those, but I feel like they either don't clean very well or in the case of the Cinema Secrets, you go through it really quickly and it's super expensive. So what I do is I briefly dip the brush into 91% isopropyl alcohol just to break down, as you can see, the product pigment from the brush, and then go in with Dawn and then just do a little lather and make sure to rinse the brush clean. I feel like this can really break down some of the products that are super difficult to get that product out of the brush. So for example, foundation especially can be super difficult to clean from the brush. And for me, I really need to have clean brushes. I feel like it really helps prevent breakouts, and it just is a personal preference, but I love a clean brush. So I feel like this combination of using isopropyl alcohol and Dawn is really the most cost-effective solution for washing brushes that I found. It is super cheap. You can get isopropyl alcohol for like $3, and then Dawn, you probably have it already. So I feel like this is the solution that I found works best for me. It gets your brushes really, really clean. I will say I would not try and use this on natural hair brushes. These are all synthetic brushes and they're all super cheap and affordable. So if something were to happen with them, it wouldn't be an issue to replace them. But like I said, this is definitely my preferred method out of all the methods I've tried. It's super affordable and works really well. Okay, we are back and I've given everything a little bit of time to dry. Some things are not completely dry yet, but dry enough that we can start a declutter. So I'm going to move things around a little bit so we can make this a little bit easier. And I'm going to start by getting rid of some things that I know I'm definitely going to get rid of. So to start off, I have a bunch of these sponges that are just from random compacts that I don't know why I keep these. I don't know if anyone else does this too, but I'm just like, just in case. Like I never actually use the puff that comes with the compact, but I always just end up keeping them like just in case all of my other brushes are dirty. I don't know, but that's silly, so I'm going to toss these out. Same with this little spoolie. I feel like I got this when I got my lashes done a million years ago, and for some reason I've held on to it, but this can go too. So this is my Glossier pencil sharpener. I absolutely love this. I love that it has a pretty big well for the shavings, and it fully locks tight, so this can't explode in my bag like a lot of other sharpeners have unfortunately done in the past. So I think this is a really nice, good quality sharpener, and I'm definitely keeping it. And then this is a color switcher from Odenzai. It's basically just a little sponge in here. I gave this a wash out when we were washing the brushes, but you can just rub a brush on here to switch colors if you have like an eyeshadow brush that has a lot of pigment on it and you want to use it again with a different shade. I don't use this super often, but it is useful to have, so I'm going to keep it. And then we have a variety of puffs and sponges here. So this is the Glamlay Garfield face sponge right here. I'm not a sponge girly. I never use this. It's a little firm even when I wet it. And while it's cute and I've given it a bunch of, goes, I'm just not into sponges, and I doubt I'm going to be. I mean, of course, I might come back on here in like a year and be like, I love sponges now, but I'm just not into sponges, so I'm gonna part ways with this one. Then I have this Real Techniques hybrid puff and sponge. It's a good idea, but it's kind of a weird, funky little product, and as you can see, it takes a while for the sponge side to fully dry, and it looks all crazy while it's drying. This is sort of just like my backup puff if this elf one is dirty. So I just will keep it for backup, but this elf one I'm definitely keeping. This is my go-to. I love the shape. It's super affordable. It's looking a little ragged just because I love it so much, but when this one goes, I will definitely buy another one of these because I think it's a great puff and one that's super affordable. Okay, on to the fun stuff. So I think I'm going to try and divide these between a face and eye just so we can compare like with like. So we've got a bunch of eye brushes here. We have a mix of some super affordable, some more mid-range. I don't really have any super high-end brushes like natural hair brushes or anything like that. It's just expensive. It's always kind of been out of reach for me, and I feel like these are working well for me right now. Plus, I feel like I can wash them as often as I need to, get a really thorough clean, and not have to worry about ruining the brushes or anything like that. So that's sort of just the kind of brushes that I'm drawn to. I have a mix of brands here. We'll go through them individually in a second, but I'm just going to start picking out the ones that I feel like are similar so we can compare them to each other. Okay, so these are all sort of medium blending brushes. So I have one right here that is from Sephora. This is not the Sephora collection, which is the sort of nicer, more pro tools, adjacent brand that Sephora has. This is just a regular Sephora kind of cheapy brush, but I actually really like this. It has a short handle. It's really nice for travel. As you can see, this is kind of wearing away from use, but this is pretty nice for being one of their lesser expensive brushes. It's more dense than some of these other blending brushes, but I really like it depending on the look that I'm going for, so I'm going to keep this one. Then right here, I have a Profusion blending eyeshadow brush. This is pretty similar in density to this one, maybe a little bit stiffer, but I like this so far. I have not had it for very long, but it was very affordable, and I have never really used Profusion very much, but it's a brand that I'm interested in exploring a little bit more, and so far I really like the brush quality, and I'm going to keep this one. Okay, this is a Morphe brush. As you can see, it has seen better days. I have loved this brush because I just feel like it has been so perfect for what I need to do, which is just like lay on a mat in the crease. But as you can see, it's super stained. It is, falling apart. I don't really think the quality on these is very good. For example, I think I've had this one longer than this one. And certainly this Sephora one longer than this one also. And it's looking so raggedy. So it saddens me, but I'm going to say goodbye to this one. Okay, and then we've got a NYX blending brush right here. This one is pretty good. I feel like it's not, the shape is looking a little funky because it's still a little bit damp, but this is really nice for a drugstore priced blending brush, and I feel like Ulta always has like buy one, get one 50% off and stuff like that on NYX. So I would pick these up then if you're looking for some drugstore price brushes, but I think these are pretty nice and I'm going to keep this. Another brush from NYX right here. This one is a little bit different from the other one. You can see the fibers are a little more, not duo fiber, but the lengths are different here. I feel like these are pretty different depending on what I want the product to do. This lays it down a lot more like a thicker, more dense layer, whereas if I want to go in with a dark color super lightly, this is better for that. It's not the greatest quality. I think that this one is actually better quality, just from the bristles and such, but I'm going to go ahead and keep this one for now. And then I have two Sephora brushes. I have the Pro Crease 26 and the Pro Crease 19. And I like both of these. They are nearing the end of their life a little bit, not as much as the Morphe one right here, but I've had these both so long. As you can see, this one is looking a little crazy on this side. I am going to keep these for now. I do think they're really good, and I feel like the Sephora Pro line of brushes are some of the best brushes that you can get for the price. They also always have really good sales, like 30% off during the spring sale and things like that. So I always pick them up then. So I'll probably pick up some more of these Sephora collection brushes next time they have their sale, but for now I will keep these. Okay, so next I picked out a lot of these sort of flat shader brushes. I really like these for packing on shimmer, and I think they're just super useful in my collection. I really, really love this one. Again, looking a little worse for wear, but this is a Zoeva smoky shader brush, and this is just like the perfect size and shape. I would love to pick more of these up at some point just because I think that this is such a great brush. Then similar shape, this is the e.l.f. eyeshadow C brush. It is a little denser than the other one, but also a synthetic brush that lays down a shimmer really nicely, and I will definitely keep this one. Again, I think these are really great for the price. Another Profusion brush, a large shader. Again, these Profusion brushes are new to me, but so far I really like these, and I think this works really well. Now, this is a Sigma Detail blending brush. I think this is also nice for shimmer. It gives a little bit of a looser look on the lid than some of these other shorter brushes, but this is nice so far. I have not had this for that long. It is already stained, which is just par for the course with these sort of lighter hair synthetic brushes, but I don't have a problem, you know, it's just stain. It's not going to affect, you know, the product application or anything like that, so I'm going to keep that one. And then the rest of these I do think I'm going to all keep. This is a Sephora Pro Shadow 10. Again, a little stained, but so great for laying down a product. This one is also from Sephora. This is a Pro Shadow 14. Kind of use them for different things depending on the look that I'm going for. This one is a little bit stiffer and a little coarser, but sometimes that works really, really well for picking up some of those looser shimmers, and I really like both of these. I'm going to keep them. And then this is also from Sephora, but this is a concealer brush. It is the Pro Concealer 71, but I use it as an eyeshadow brush. Sometimes if I'm doing a just one shadow look all over the lid with a kind of loose sort of like Urban Decay Space Cowboy type shadow. This is just so great for laying down sort of like a soft shimmery shade all over the lid, and I'm definitely going to keep this one for that. Then these, you might not be able to tell with this one, it says it's a blender brush from e.l.f., but it is flat. This isn't really my favorite brush. I don't really love this one. It's cheap, but like in the sense that it's cheaply made. So I'm actually gonna get rid of this one as well. It's kind of like one of my backup brushes, but I need to stop keeping things just for backup when I have so many other brushes. And then I have another NYX brush right here. This isn't my favorite for laying down shimmer. It just gives a little too loose of a look for my preference, but I will keep this. I think I could ultimately find a use for this one. And then another Profusion firm blending eyeshadow. It is a flat shader brush though, which I really like, and I want to play around more with this, so I will definitely be keeping this one. And then we have some sort of smaller blending brushes right here. I kind of use these for laying down darker mattes in the outer V of the eye. They're all pretty similar, and to be honest, I am probably going to keep all of these. I don't use these super often. I probably use them like every other time I do my eyeshadow versus like every single time with these types of brushes. But I do think they're useful, and they have a place in my collection. This is another one from Profusion, the Pointed Crease eyeshadow, and I like it so far, so I'm going to keep that one. Another one, this is actually from Japanesque, and I think this is a great brush. If I saw more Japanesque brushes like at Marshalls or anything like that, I would definitely consider picking them up. That's where I got this one, and I think it's just the perfect level of firmness for this kind of small blending brush, and I really like this one. And then two more small blending brushes that I'm definitely going to keep. One from Sephora. This is the Pro Crease 24. And another Japanesque brush. Are these the same? No, one is a little bit bigger. But I really like both of these. They're very similar, as you can tell. This one's a little looser and this one's a little firmer, but I really, really enjoy both of these, and I think they're great. And I know I said I was going to keep all of these from that grouping, but I don't think I need this. This is an e.l.f. crease brush. Again, with same as with the bigger one, they're just like really floppy and loose and just like kind of cheap and don't lay color down the way I want. And I just don't think these are great. Like I kind of think in a case where I had no brushes left, maybe I would just skip eyeshadow that day over using these. Like I have used them, but every time I reach for them, I'm like, this brush again, you know, they're just not my favorite. So I'm going to put these in the declutter pile. And then I have some small eye brushes. These are like eyeliner brushes, inner crease brushes. First of all, I never really wear eyeliner just like in general. And I definitely don't use brushes like this when I do. And I kind of feel like I should keep at least one on hand, but I just don't really like any of these, and I never really use them unless, again, there's absolutely no clean brushes left. And I don't know. I feel like this is a good example of why I shouldn't buy brush sets, because I'm pretty sure most of these came in sets. So this is a Japanesque brush. And this one from Real Techniques, the smudge liner brush, I definitely didn't buy this one by itself. It's a weird shape even for this kind of brush. And then this one from e.l.f. is just a little cheapy. You know, I think I'm going to get rid of all of these. I never use them unless, you know, unless, but I don't want to keep things just for unless. So I'm going to move these over here to the declutter pile. And then I have these two little brushes right here. This is actually a lip smudge brush from Real Techniques, and another Japanesque brush right here. But I use these for inner corner. I think they're really nice for like a pop of bright, that sort of white shimmer in the inner corner. I think they work really well for that. My nails and my fingers are too long for me to get in there with the finger, so I always use a brush like this if I'm going to do that kind of look. I actually wish I had more brushes for this purpose. But I may pick some up at a later date, but so far these are working for me. So of the eye brushes, we have the keep pile right here and the declutter pile right here. I will count through everything at the end, but so far we're getting rid of 6, which is awesome. Okay, moving on to face brushes. I pretty much always apply my foundation with a brush, so I like having a big assortment of them, especially because I don't like to use a brush more than 1 or 2 times before washing it. So I really need to have a lot on hand, and there's some shapes and sizes that I prefer more than others for applying foundation. So I'm going to go through and sort out the foundation type brushes so we can go through them all together. Okay. Wow, there's a lot more than I thought. But this is why we're doing this, which is good. To start off, there's a couple that I know I'm going to keep. This is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. Is there another one? I felt like I had more of these. This is right here. It's funny because these are 2 Ultimate Blending Brushes, but the sizes and shapes feels ever so slightly different. This one feels a little taller, but maybe this one just has been beat down over time. But I really love these. Even though I was kind of trashing the other e.l.f. Brushes a moment ago, I think these are so nice for the price, for a drugstore. If you like this shape, it's small, easy to hold, good for travel. These are a really great drugstore option if you are a lover of foundation brushes. Plus, they're so affordable that you can pick up more than one, like I did. I think these are about $7, which I just think is such a great price for these. They clean up pretty well, which is hard, I can't say, for you know, every foundation brush. Some of them are so hard to get foundation out of. But these clean up decently well, and I think these are so nice for the price. I could honestly even see myself getting a third one. But I will definitely be keeping these. Okay, and then I have a couple of Sigma brushes here. These are, again, in the same vein as the e.l.f. ones that I just talked about. They're similar size and shape. This kabuki one is obviously flat, and this round kabuki is obviously round, but they are also different sizes. And I definitely prefer the size of the flat kabuki brush. I just love a little bit of a bigger, but not big, foundation brush because I feel like it can cover more area on the face. And so I just really love this flat kabuki. I'm still kind of deciding how I feel about the round kabuki. I do like it and will use it, but I just wish it was a hair bigger, but I'm going to keep both of these. More brushes that I like and I know I will use. This is another cheapy little Sephora brush, but this is just a great size and I really, really like this one for foundation, so I'm going to keep that. This one is from NYX. Again, I think this is really nice for drugstore pricing. I think this is about like in the $12 to $17 range. Actually, that's a pretty big range, so I don't know even why I'm estimating that. But I think this is nice. I think the fibers are nice. It's a little bit hard to clean, so that's my main qualm about this one. But it applies really nicely, and I'm going to keep this one. Then, okay. I love the Sephora collection brushes. I just don't like the shape or the fibers of these. So this is a Pro Foundation 70. This is just so dense and I don't like a brush this dense for applying foundation. I just feel like I'm spackling my face and it's super hard to clean and get into these fibers. So I've really not liked this as long as I've had it. And a good example of why it's hard to buy makeup brushes online, because you can't sort of feel the density and like sort of get a real sense for it, at least for me. So this has kind of been my backup of the backups for a really long time, but now it's just time to say goodbye to it. Then this one, I like this one a little bit better than the super dense one. This is a Pro Foundation brush, but I don't really like the duo fibers, as you can see right here. It's not my favorite style of brush. I used to like this more, but it only works with certain foundations and it can leave a lot of them looking really streaky, and I feel like I have to put in a lot of work to buff the streaks away, so I don't like that one and I'm gonna declutter this. And then these are sort of similar in that they're all flat, which is not my preferred shape for a foundation brush, but some of these I like more than others. This Sephora Pro Foundation 47, I just really don't like this shape. I don't like this sort of paddle brush because then I just feel like I can't buff. I can only do like a streaking motion like that. I know this definitely works for some people and that's just a skill issue. I don't like this one and I'm going to say goodbye to it. And then I have another one that is also flatter. This is the Pro Foundation 56, but this one I can actually sort of, as you can see, it's not quite as flat as the other one and it works more for buffing out. Again, not my number one favorite, but I will use this especially if my other brushes are dirty. And then this one's kind of similar. This one is the Profusion Buffing Foundation Brush. My main issue with this one is that it's just kind of small. I feel like I can cover more area with my other brushes and you know, it's not my favorite, but I haven't had it that long and I'm going to keep it for now. Okay, and then we have some sort of random face brushes right here. These are both concealer brushes, but I rarely use them for concealer. I normally just use my foundation brush for concealer. This is a Sephora Pro Concealer 57, and this is a Real Techniques 421 Soft Accent. And I actually use these, this one I use for highlighter sometimes. I don't know, it's just, these are just the sort of like multi-purpose brushes that I end up using for random things. But they do have a place in my collection, and I'm gonna hold on to them for now. If I am not using them very much, the next time I declutter, I will definitely, you know, get them out of my collection, but for now, they can stay. And then I also have a Real Techniques 420 Spotlight Fan Brush, and then a 217 Expert Edge Foundation. So this is way too small for a foundation brush for me and my preference. I do actually use this for highlighter. If I want a super intense highlighter look, I will use this for that. This is more of a PC subtle highlight look, but I do use both of these, this one more than this one, but I'm going to keep both of them. Okay, and then I'm going to go through my last grouping, which is powder brushes. So these are still a little bit damp, so they don't look as nice as they would if they were fully dry, but there's some definite standout favorites in here. I really, really like this Real Techniques 201 powder brush. I love this for bronzer. It's really nice and just a big fluffy brush that I really, really enjoy. Another good bronzer brush. This one is smaller and a little bit more targeted. This is a Profusion powder brush. Really, really enjoy this one. Have used this one for face powder as well, and it's nice for that too. This is a Sephora, again, random Sephora brush that I love using for powder. Before I really got into using face puffs, I was using this exclusively for face powder because, as you can see, it sort of has this beveled edge right here, and you can really pack on face powder. And I just think it works so, so well for that. So definitely keeping that one. It's a hard shape to find, so definitely keeping this in my collection. And then this little e.l.f. blush brush I use for under eye powder. It is just the perfect shape to get in under the eyes and apply some brightening powder. I think it is so perfect for that. Again, super affordable and has lasted pretty well for at least a couple of years. So while I don't love some of the e.l.f. brushes that I've talked about, some of them are really standout, and I think this is one of them. Then I have two blush brushes here that I really love. This one is from Real Techniques, the 400. Love the little kind of egg shape on this. It's just so pretty, perfect for applying just a nice wash of color. And then actually same with this e.l.f. pointed powder brush right here. I think these are both really nice. They're kind of comparable. They're kind of similar. Both affordable, but really nice affordable options. This one's a little smaller and great for travel, and I'm gonna keep both of them. And then two funky little random brushes right here. This Sephora brush is just a blush brush, but I sometimes use this again for different purposes. So I've used this to apply self-tanner. I've used this for, blush when you don't have another brush available, things like that. It's sort of just like a random brush, but I do find uses for it now and again, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep this one. And then this tiny little Sephora Pro mini airbrush brush. This is really nice for travel. If I have to pack a really small edited makeup bag for travel or something like this, I always keep this. I use it for a variety of things. Sometimes it does double duty for blush and bronzer, but I don't see a reason to get rid of this one. It's not always on rotation for me, but when I use it, I enjoy it. Okay, so we're keeping this many. I sound like a 5-year-old. This many. And then decluttering this many. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick count. So we're decluttering 9 plus these random bits and bobs. So 9 plus 10 if you count that, and these are basically just trash anyways. So 10, we'll call this 10 right here, but that's pretty good in my opinion. And then we're going to keep, wow, we're keeping 41, which is crazy because that means I basically had 50 brushes. But I'm happy with the amount that we decluttered. I'm happy with the amount that we're keeping. I'm going to put them back into this little spinner that I have. I gave this a quick wipe out, but it's not perfectly clean, and it's probably never going to be because dirty brushes live in here. But I generally organize them by dirty, clean, clean face, clean eye brushes, and then random little tools. So I'll throw my random little tools back in here to begin with. But even this is just like less overwhelming already. Okay, so this is what we're keeping. This is what we're decluttering, and I feel good about this. I like to have a small-ish or just like more manageable brush collection. I'm gonna be honest, I could see myself getting more brushes, getting into higher end brushes, things like that in the future. But for now, this is working for me. This fits on my vanity, and this is the right amount of brushes for me. So thank you so much for joining me on this little declutter today. This was fun and definitely much needed to get some of these out of my collection. They just really felt like clutter and things that I really wasn't reaching for. So really happy to have a little bit more of an edited brush collection. And as always, thank you so much for watching me. If you like this kind of content, I hope you'll stick around and subscribe. And as always, have a great rest of your day.